I've clearly had some commitment issues lately because it's May and I've only just settled on a personal ring planner. I've been feeling a little restless and I needed something a bit different and colourful. Join me for a planning session today and I'll show you what I'm using and hopefully give you some ideas to help if you're feeling a little bit bored of your planner too. A cup of coffee is optional, but why not take some time out of your day to sit and enjoy some stationery with me for a while? My goodness, it's been a long time, hasn't it? So I am back with a video, and if you can't already tell from the look of this thing, I am back in a personal size Moterm. And today I've got my trusty coffee with me. I'm going to give you a look at what I have finally decided on for my planner for, well, the moment anyway. The more I've been doing with it, the more I'm just really enjoying the whole like look and feel of this planner. So yeah, let's see, shall we? So I've got something completely different. It's a complete change for like the style of all sorts of things that I've got in here. So I can't wait to show you and I want to know what you think. So it is a little bit crazy and colourful, this one. Are you ready? So look at that tiger. He is, I just love him. So let me just move my sticker book out of the way. I'll come back to that after. Incidentally, how useful is this look on these Moterm planners? You've got this, I think they call it a secretary flap or something at the front as well as the big back pocket. But it means that for this, I have all of my like functional stickers in there, and it just fits in really nicely. And I can still, look at that, I can still close it. It's really chunky, this one, but do you know what? I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, so I'm sidetracking. Let me just move that out of the way. Then I will show you what I've got in here. So, yeah, this one is, I'm kind of trying to not really make it do everything. I've been using a lot of digital planning stuff. I'm using Notion quite a lot for work at the moment, and I'm using Google Calendar for my my calendar, I suppose, because I have invites and all of that kind of stuff and dragging things around and changing things. But there is still a place for paper as far as I'm concerned. I like to have paper to sort of draw everything together and to give me a reminder, really, like a sort of a planning ritual where I just go and look at all of the electronic stuff and bring it all in and use this more of a thinking space, I guess. So what I've got in here, you have to excuse me, I've had such a cough for ages. I'm sounding a little bit croaky, but bear with me. So with these Moterm planners, you tend to get the flyleaf, and I really like using mine to sort of separate the planner in two parts. The first part I'm using is more like a kind of, well, I guess notebook in a sense, and then my traditional planning is behind. So first things first, then I've got some like little pocket sheets. I've got these sort of littered around. I was thinking before, when I was like decorating and adding all the bits and pieces in here, I really like having lots of clips, lots of notepaper, but I think rather than have it sort of on my desk, because I'm not really a desk planner as such, I'm a sort of have my planner wherever the kids are kind of person, whether it's either at the kitchen table or on the sofa or something, but I like carrying everything with me. So I tend to have a lot of clips and a lot of bits like attached so I can kind of grab something really quickly when I need it. Similarly, I've got my washi in there as well, which is very handy on a little washi holder card, which again means that I use it. If I've got it in my planner, I use it. So on the first section then, I've got, because this is like the note kind of area, I wanted to have a little pocket. Can you see that one there? All I've done, and I'll show you what this started out as, I've just got a little self-adhesive pocket and I've just snipped it. So I've got a little corner there. So if I needed to put any notes in there, any bits of paper, which I'll show you with this card, they can just sit folded up in that corner. And I think that's quite useful. Anyway, so that's there, and again, some more cards and clips and paper. There's going to be a bit of an ongoing theme here. So I've also got a little vellum to start me off, again, just to layer it and make it look a little bit nicer. And I've got a year at a glance, which is so essential. So are my glasses, incidentally, because this text is tiny. And again, I've got some note paper at the front here. I've got a planner key, which I will come back to a little bit later on when I'm going to start writing in this thing. I've already sort of like tested it out for size, but yeah, I will move on. Oh, incidentally, I'm going to be putting this as a free printable on the website, so I will make sure that the URL is on the screen, but if you want to get yourself a free copy of that, then by all means grab that and stay tuned, and I will show you how I'm going to be using this later. So I've also got let me just whiz forward, a new brain dump, and I always have a brain dump insert in my planners, and I've redesigned it. In fact, I've redesigned everything in this planner, mostly because, well, I guess I just like doing it, but also I tend to have two different, I guess, styles of inserts, like one with all of the headings that's quite kind of minimal, clean looking, and another one that tends to be more of a grid-based style, which I tend to avoid headings. That one is mostly supposed to be so you can kind of write all of your own titles on there and make it completely your own. This one I'm just going to refer to as my hybrid, because it's a little bit of grid and headings as well, so it's got that kind of grid look, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be writing everything on here. So here then is my brain dump. I'm going to use this as like a coded one. So I've got some really small boxes there where I can use some codes or initials. Then I can write the item on there, tick it off when it's done, and tick which one I'm going to be using it for. But I will be filling this in later, so stay with me if you want to see how that looks. So I've then got at the back, because this is going to be a bit of a notebook, but at the minute I just have paper because I don't know what sections I'm going to need just yet until I start doing it. So I've just left these in here for now, and clipped on here, again, more journal cards and paper clips. These journal cards, incidentally, I think are a really good way if you want to put a clip on your planner. They're a great way of cushioning it against any potential scratches. But anyway, go back to my stickers. So I've got my labels here just in case I want to commit to any sections for these. I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm just going to put all of them in there. So when I think about it, that'll be it. It's a sort of thing where over time, if I notice one thing gathering in my planner, then I'll create a section for it so I can keep it organised sort of as I go along. Then I've got the more traditional planning end of things, where I've got, again, some more of these pocket sheets. I've got some different designs, different things written on them. I'm just going to keep those there. I love how these planners just have loads and loads of pockets. I have made full use of the pockets this time, in case you can't tell already. And do you see what I mean about it being different? It's a complete pop of colour this time. It started off, let me just sidetrack a minute. I got this planner, I think it was last year. It's another personal one, and can you see? And I thought I wanted something completely different. So again, I redesigned everything, and it is completely different to what I thought I would have. And I never used it. I spent such a long time designing it all, and yeah, oh no, I used a little bit, there you go, but like, that's it. There's not much at all. So yeah, I really liked it, but then I was going to use it again, but you know what, it's so sad. I noticed there's like a little bit of wear on here from where it's been on my shelf for ages, so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna start again. Well, why not? So here I am with the same sort of stuff redesigned, but again, this one I just think feels a lot more me now anyway, so I really like this one. Anyway, so my monthly section then, again, more journal cards. I've just layered in every now and again some stickers that I've got just for a little bit of visual interest. There is literally no point to doing that, but I like it, and if I like how it looks, if it makes me happy when I'm using it, then I will use it more often. That's the theory. So I've got another vellum here. I've been toying with more vellums and front covers. I've got some I've printed out. I'm trying to expand all of the printables that I've got in the shop at the minute. So I've got these front covers, which I'm going to have, these I haven't printed out front and back, but they're going to have lines on the back and then like a design on the front. So you can kind of put it in your planner like that and have like a useful page. As an alternative to vellum, but at the minute I'm just going with vellums. So I've got a monthly here. This is dated. I don't do dated normally, I'm just experimenting. So this is dated monthly, and I've only got a few months in here because, well, I got a bit bored doing all of the dates and all of the cutting and all of that kind of stuff. So I've got enough dates in here to keep me going for a while anyway. So here's my monthly section. I've just got a little bit of room at the bottom for notes and like monthly tasks, that kind of thing. And then after that, I've got my lovely giraffe, my weekly section, which again with another vellum will be very, very different to the sort of thing that I've been using so far. So let me show you then. So I've got, let me just move my task card out of the way. Incidentally, like this just sums me up in one card, just diving into a massive cup of coffee. So we've got here then, I'm trying to maximise the space I've got on here, because I was using the Hobonichi Weeks for a little bit and I really liked having that whole page. So I've kind of inspired by, like, designed a new one based on that, and I've got lots of room over here then for all of the sort of supplementary bits, I guess. So I've got my notes, my tasks, my ideal tasks, so I don't have one big long list. I've got a week overview, which I think I'm going to use for meals, and then a next week area down the bottom, because are you like me, you get page blindness. You're like, you turn over the page for the next week and you're like, oh my god, I forgot all that stuff was happening. So you've got a little area down here to remind you of the things that you need to think about for next week. So I'm just going to click that back on there, and then I will show you my next section, which is my daily section. Again, more pocket sheets, more little stickers, more clips, again because this is how I carry my clips around with me, more vellum because I like it, and I've got my little tassels here. Just, they make me happy, these colours, I just love them so much. But again, it reminds me where the useful pages are, so I can just turn to it straight away. So my dailies then, these are all the same. I've got my main goals and priorities for the start of the day. I've got a big task list. Again, my ideal tasks, because I don't like to be like held to everything that I write down on there, and an open section here that I can use for either notes or drawing out a schedule or anything really. And then moving on, I've got loads of those because we get through them quickly. I've got my food section. Again, more little stickers, more journal cards, another clip, another vellum. Are you sensing a theme? And I've got in here, I just skipped through that one because I started to use that one a little bit. Here is my new meal planner and sort of like thinking space really. The idea is that I will write down the food I've already got to use that I could have that's fresh in the fridge already, the things that I've got that I might want to use up in the freezer, and then anything that normally like the family will request, and then I can write everything that I want to have there and then transfer it into a shopping list along with anything else that I have here as well. So that is my food section. And then I've got my personal section here. Those that have been watching the channel for a while will know that this is the notorious normally stays blank section. So again, I'm going to really try and use this one. More vellum, and I've got a redesigned, if I hold that up a little bit closer, you can see that one, a redesigned habits and tracking area on there. So this one, I thought I'm going to use this one this time for things like monitoring habits throughout the month, so I can get that kind of streak building up so I can see how well I'm sticking to stuff, but also as a bit of a record. So I've just been up and down so much lately, so I wanted to track like when I get headaches or that kind of thing, or whether I have like really like just low energy kind of days, or days that I've eaten really well, or that kind of thing, and monitor it all on here. So I've also got again, I'm using these vellums as like a bit of a section break. I've also got here a food log. So instead of my meal planner, which is what I intend to eat, the food log is what I would actually eat, which sometimes bears no relation at all, but it is quite useful, especially if I'm tracking stuff like energy and health and stuff like that. It is quite useful to see what I've had as well during the week. So I've got on here my health goals for the week, and I've got an area up here for my reflection as well. So at the end of the week, if I just say I felt great, or I just like had a cold that week or something like that, I can make a note on it as well. This I've got here, so breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks and notes. Notes because I thought, well, some people like to track different things, don't they? Whether it's some sort of points or calories or like amount you've drunk or anything. So I think it's handy to have that little bit of extra bit in there as well. And that is pretty much it. I haven't got much else in here otherwise, apart from a little bit of decoration on the back. Again, more journal cards, more little bits of paper in case I want to make a note on something, laying in some stickers. And that is pretty much it. I think there's a lot of decoration in there, but not huge in terms of the number of different inserts I'm using. So I don't know whether to call it like a bit of a minimal setup or not, but I think it's definitely a functional setup. It's something that hopefully everything in there is going to be used a lot, and I'm just going to see as I go along if anything is missing. I'm going to add it later. So previously there's been things that I've had in here like an add to planner page, or some appointments, or like a future adventures thing, or like a reading list, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not having any of that for the moment, but I may change my mind. So that essentially is what I've got. And the next bit then, I'm going to be going through and filling it all in. But can I just take a minute to appreciate how much I love how coordinated this is? Oh, these colours. I am absolutely loving it. So in case you've missed it then recently, so I don't know if you saw my sticker book video a while ago that I did, but they have expanded. Actually, I just finished a little tiny short video on this. I gave it a bit of a makeover, and as soon as I did the video and came back to the planner, I changed the cover again. So this may look different to one that you've seen if you follow me on social media so far, but all I've got here is my book full of my flags and my dots and anything that's the same kind of range that I've been using so far. You can see I've been dipping into this for a little while. Some of it is looking used and some of it is not quite so much. But what I've added just recently, I've been on a bit of a sticker kick at the minute, and I've added to the shop so many icon stickers, so I've just put them all in here. I used to have them in a little self-adhesive card holder, but I found like I wasn't really using them as much as I wanted to because I was afraid of using up the sheet. So this time they're fit in here now, so they're a bit more useful, but I've got so many of them that I'm not feeling quite so precious about it. So I'm really looking forward to using these. Unfortunately, I have just had my hair cut, so I've missed out on a chance to use one of these. But yeah, they're so cute. Let me find my favourite one for you. Where is it? I've got one that I was going to use for when my little boy's in nursery. Where is it? It is just the cutest little thing. Anyway, I will show you in a bit. Anyway, I'll whack it on the screen. But yeah, so that is going to just live in the front of my planner with me and keep everything there so I can use it. Because if you want to use it, you need to have it where you're going to be using the planner itself. There we go. Right. Bear with me then, and we can start filling this one in. I always think it feels like a relief to finally start writing in your planner after you've been setting it up for ages and putting all the little pretty bits in there, and you think, right, okay, done. I can finally get started. So I'm just... as soon as I was designing these pages, I thought this little gap on the side is going to be perfect for my little stickers, and I love them. So I've been trying to come up with as many different designs as possible, and some of them I know that I personally wouldn't use, and I always think it's quite amusing because the icon stickers that I'd picked for my sticker book were just like a complete snapshot of my life. In the most tragic way, I'd got like a little childcare sticker that I'd used here, and I'd got like a school bag and a deep clean sticker and way day sticker and all these kind of things, and I thought, oh crikey, there is absolutely nothing glamorous in my little sticker collection, but maybe one day there will be. So I've added a little bit of colour here with a Tombow, and I think adding a little bit of colour with one of those pens on a grid sheet is so much easier. And I know I really like using the grid layout, but I just find it so simple just to add an extra line or like a little bit of colour or like an indented list or something. There's something about that grid layout that I just really, really connect with, and let me know if it's the same for you. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. So I think in every planner I go for, I tend to have some sort of brain dump insert, and I think it's just really important. And I've said it before, and apologies if you've heard me say this before, but I just really think that your head needs to be a space where you think about things but don't necessarily have to remember everything. I think it's that like mental clutter that makes you feel stressed about stuff. And this one, I've redesigned it so it's just got that little bit at the top to add my own code. So I'm just adding at the top of this one at the moment. So I've got like an exclamation mark for important and a little arrow for things that I'm going to think about later, and all those useful little bits. So the free printable I've got for you this time is the planner key that you can see I'm adding my little stickers to, and just quite enjoying that. So that is at sortstuffout.co.uk. So it's free to download on there in a range of sizes, along with everything else that I've used in the video. It's on the website rather than Etsy, because at the minute that's where I'm putting a lot of my new stuff. Etsy, I don't know if you know much from the seller's point of view, but they're not particularly good to their sellers, so they take an awful lot in fees and stuff like that. So for printables especially, those are pretty much going to be mostly on the website, but everything that you find on Etsy basically is on the website as well. So hopefully this will be a good excuse for you to go and have a little look. I've spent so much time on it lately, and I'd love to know what you think about it. And that's it for another one. I really like this setup, and I'd love to hear what you think too. I'll be back soon because I've got a summer range that's almost ready to go, so I'll be having a play with some setup and deco ideas. So if you'd like to be notified when new videos and things are released, make sure you subscribe and get added to the newsletter at sortstuffout.co.uk.